Hello world! Welcome to Learning Java, one byte at a time. This is a video tutorial series that will hopefully take somebody with little or no programming experience and introduce them to the world of Java, as well as general programming concepts, and hopefully take them to more advanced features of Java and more advanced programming concepts by the end of the tutorial. If Java is your second or third language, or if you have quite a bit of programming experience and you're hoping to just pick up Java on the fly, this video tutorial series may not be for you. It's going to be very rudimentary, and it's going to be very principles based and explain the why behind a lot of it. But if you're new to programming or have little programming experience, this might actually be the perfect tutorial series for you. My hope is to keep these videos quite short, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, so that they're very digestible. And let's dive right in. So in this first video, I just want to talk about why Java is awesome, and it is awesome. And in the second video, we're going to go through the installation and verification process, and then by the third video, we're going to be writing our first Hello World program. So we'll dive right in. Right here, right off the Oracle website, we're going to kind of talk about what is Java. So Java is a simple, object-oriented programming language, and object-oriented just means that what you code, you're going to code basically objects in there, and the objects are going to have attributes, and they're going to have features and functionality, and they can be constructed and copied and pasted throughout the program, and can be used to sort of make your program work. It's a distributed language, which means it works on so many devices. I think more than 3 billion devices use Java. It's a multi-threaded, which means that the code is not only executed linearly, it's something where you can have multiple tasks executed synchronously, and so there's a lot of efficiency there. It's a dynamic language, which means that it's something that can actually change itself within the program as the program's running. Architecture neutral, which means that it can run on PC, it can run on Windows, Mac, it can run on Linux, it can run on your smartphone, it can run on your Blu-ray player, it can run on your toaster oven. It's a portable language. You can use it in very, very small devices because it doesn't take up a whole lot of space or a whole lot of memory. It's very high performance, so that even though the code is high level, which means it's written very close to spoken English, it's easy to read and write, but it's also something that's extremely efficient. It's a very robust language as well. Java is really good about making sure that it goes through and eliminates redundancies and makes your code something that can be executed really quickly and efficiently. And it's also very secure, especially when connecting to databases or making sure that it's asking for permissions for features on smartphones. And so kind of just a real quick overview. You would write some Java code. That Java code would then be compiled. The compiler turns it in what's called byte code, and that byte code is read by the Java virtual machine. The Java virtual machine is what's in charge of interfacing that byte code to each individual device. And so by only writing the code once and then compiling it to bytecode, the Java virtual machine makes sure that it runs on Windows, Unix, Mac, on whatever device the case may be. This makes it extremely easy to write one code that can be run on all devices instead of something like C, which has to be written device specific. And so this is done through what's called the Java virtual machine, which has an API. The API is what's called an application programming interface. And once the class is compiled and the Java virtual machine uses the API to tailor it to each individual device, the Java code will execute as though you had written it specifically for that device. And so Java code can be written in something as simple as like a Notepad app, or you can use like an application developing environment such as Eclipse or Android Studio or something to that effect. So moving right along, Java has development tools. It's been around for quite a while, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And so there's a lot of support, and there's a lot of libraries that you can use for compiling, running your code, monitoring it through logs, debugging it, and then the documentation feature in Java is actually just ridiculously helpful, and it's something that should be learned from the outset, especially if you're going to be doing any enterprise level applications. The application programming interface, the API, as we talked about, it's the core functionality. It's basically what does the interfacing between the one code that you write and the several different devices that it can run on. Deployment technologies, the JDK, which is the Java Development Kit, is what will help you deploy, whether it's a web app or whether it's a standalone application or whether it's something that's going to be portable like on a smartphone. There's user interface toolkits, so what are called the Java effects or the swing. will help you make calls to open up a window. And when you open up the window, is that going to be a Windows window? Is it going to be a Mac window? Is it going to be like a smartphone window? And so it makes it really easy to make those graphical user interfaces very easily. And then, of course, the integration libraries. So the library that's going to be used for programming applications that are going to be making calls to databases or things like that. And so Java, how will Java change my life? Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Java's just awesome. Once you get bit by the Java bug, you get the Java fever, you're going to realize just how insanely cool Java is, and you're never going to want to stop using it. And hopefully it doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. And then the Hello World application, which we're going to actually write as soon as we go through the next video showing the installation and verification of Java. And so I don't really think there's too much more I want to talk about right here. Make sure that you have a pretty decent computer. It can run on a whole variety of operating systems. So if you have Linux, if you have iOS, if you have Windows, you should be good to go. Just make sure that your computer has a fair amount of memory and that it's got a fairly decent processor. It doesn't have to be insanely fast. It doesn't have to be a gaming PC or anything like that. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and go through the installation and verification process, and we will see you then.